What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Rib Workshop. Today's video, I'm getting a wee bit tired of having to borrow and use other people's blasters, so I think it's about time I make my own. So in this video, I'm going to make my own custom blaster. So let's do this. So for the base of the blaster, I'm going to be using this. It is an old Logic, zoom in there, Logic 3 Predator Plus light gun. I think it's for a PlayStation. I'm not sure. I can't actually remember. But I actually bought this years ago because it does have a striking resemblance to the Lawgiver from the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd film. My original plan was to repaint this to look like this and call it a mini version. Yeah, you can see it's got the same light bar graph, the grip handle bit here's the same, it's got the two barrels, yeah, very similar, but that's not happening. So I'm going to turn it into a blaster. Now I do have some wee bits and pieces lying around that I could use, greeblies and things like that, but I do have all this stuff from a broken DL44. So the first thing I want to do is just take it all apart, see what's inside, see if I could save any parts for it. It's got quite a cool wee lens in here that I could use for something. So to keep myself organised with the screws, I'm going to start down here and go clockwise round. Then I'm going to put them down on a bit of paper with some tape just to keep the screws organised a wee bit better. They all look pretty much the same, but just in case there's different lengths, it's a good wee tip just to keep your screws organised. Now let's see how it comes apart. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to keep this wee lens. I do have plans to make a wee scope for something, and this could come in handy, so that's definitely getting saved. Yeah, I'll definitely keep the trigger. At least it's not going to make any noise or anything like that, but it's always good to have a moving trigger. The rest of it could just come out. So there is quite a lot of room in here, as you can see once I've got the electrics out. What my plan is anyway just now is just to keep it glued, not glued, screwed together. That way if I want to, I could take it apart at some point in the future and put electrics in it to light up and make sounds. So as I said, I'm going to plan on putting the stuff that's off a broken DL44 in here. Just trying to figure out where to put it. I definitely know I'll put the muzzle on the front. So we'll just have to glue that on. Can't see it. And the scope mount, I'll have to drill a hole somewhere, figure out where I want to actually put it. That could be good. So if I do plan on putting electrics in it at some point in the future, I don't really want these bits covered up because I will have them lighting up. As you noticed, you can't actually see what I'm pointing at on the camera. These wee bits. So if that goes on, it'll have to be mounted down just a wee bit further. Yeah, so I'm just going to mess about with it, see what else I've got lying around. Now I do have an original M40 scope that I've had for a while again. There's a ongoing theme with stuff I've got, stuff I've had for years. I was planning on making a Stormtrooper blaster and adding this on, but I don't know, it kind of works with this mount as well, so it'd be a bit too much, to be honest with you though. It's a heavy wee guy. So in my wee boxes of old hard drive computer stuff, I've got nothing big, they're all quite small wee bits and pieces. Came across a couple of things I might use, so I've got this wee guy, I think I might mount on the side. If I do that, I'll just drill the hole through, then use these brass bits to mount this on. Same with gluing. So these wee guys might go on the side here. This it might go on the barrel at the end. Always a good idea if you're taking things apart to try and keep them for these kind of projects. So I'm just going to drill some holes, screw things on and see how it looks. So I'm loving this big hole that goes all the way through. And I'm thinking maybe install something inside, like a power crystal or something like that. And I've got this wee marble that I could put inside, and when you put a light thing shining through it, you can see the inside of it. So these glass marbles that I've got, hard to see, are slightly radioactive. I think it's uranium glass, I think it's called. It's quite big in the Victorian era. It glows under UV light. Why have I got these? Because I thought it would be a fun little thing to add into a lightsaber. Now it's kind of hard to see, but there is one in here. Then when I switch it on, it lights up. Yeah. So that could be a cool wee addition to the blaster. So I drilled that hole, but it's really close to this bit, unfortunately, and where is it? The bolt and washer won't get to there, so just move it along a wee bit. Guys, the bracket will still come out the other hole. Only wee problem is there is a bit of a gap there because of this wee contour. I'm going to have to put something behind there just to bring it out a wee bit. But I should be able to find a washer or something, or another bolt that'll work. So I drilled a hole that was slightly smaller than the bolt itself, and what I'm going to try and do is just use this to thread the hole. It should work. The plastic is soft enough, which is good. Don't need that on there. I also might just do it is just put the bolt on the other side anyway. And the resistance is stopping, so there we go. That's it threaded in. It'll come back off again. yeah, that's how we're looking so far. Added this wee guy on. It's some kind of motor thing from a hard drive or a CD drive or something like that. Same with this. This will get glued on after painted. It's been drilled and tapped. Now this is a wee bit squint. You can't really see it that well from this angle, but once I do this, you can see it. All because of this curve here. So I'm going to have to make something that goes with the curve so it stays flat. Right now that scope is off. You're not shooting anybody straight like that. The barrel, I've got some tubing somewhere in a box that should go over that, then should fit in here. It'll be easier to glue. I don't really like the weathering in this. You know, you guys know, I love weathering, but this isn't to my taste. So I'm going to try cleaning this off. Hopefully it comes off. Then I can do the weathering on that myself. So I'll just carry on with this. Make sure that's okay. So I managed to find some polycarbonate tubing. I think it is 3/4. That's what I use for making lightsaber blades. Thinner lightsaber blades anyway. I took my Dremel sanding drum and sanded the inside of it just to fit the plastic over this aluminium bit. Good thing though, it actually warmed the plastic up a bit so it was malleable, and I was able to just push this on and now it's stuck and it's not coming off at all. So this wee bit will be glued inside the barrel like so, and that'll be in there permanently. I think that's looking great so far. I did put the original switches back in some of the bits, just in case I do want to put electrics in it at some point. I can use them as on-off switches, auxiliary switches, and there's holes in the bottom here, so if I want to I could put a recharge port there, or there, have batteries inside it. So I repainted the replica scope, gave it a better finish to it. Then I went on with some dry brushing, some gold onto it, just to give it a wee more of a worn look. And I think that turned out pretty good, as you can see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with this. So once the primer is dry, I gave it a coat of silver paint as well. Then I used some masking fluid to do the chipping effect for later on. Once this was dry, it was then a case of putting some more masking fluid on before the next coat on top of this, which involved a lot of masking up as well and unpeeling. So I've unmasked after doing the blue section, got the chipping effect going on as well. It looks great. I did make one little mistake though. I meant to mask these switch bits up and I didn't. So I'm now going to have to mask these off and spray them black. But right now I'm actually off away to work, and I'll do this later on. With the paint done, it's now time to do a black weather wash. So I did manage to get the original weathering off this, and now it's time to do it myself. So my thought process with the weathering for this, I had it in my head that the blue bits would be painted. That's why they've got the chipped bits. But I thought the black bits, instead of being painted, they would have been some kind of chemical blackening done to them. So instead of the paint chipping off, some of the bits would have worn edges where the whatever it is worn away slightly. So I'm going to do some dry brushing with some silver paint. I've literally just sprayed some out of a tin of silver spray paint. As you can see, I'm just going to do some dry brushing. So once the weathering was all dry, I gave it a clear coat. Now I just need to leave this to dry. Then I could add everything back on and call it done. So there you go guys, that's it done. It's turned out brilliantly. I love how it looks. Normally Star Wars blasters are usually just black with a bit of weathering. For my own blaster I wanted something a wee bit different. And I was actually influenced by the heavy infantry Mandalorian from the Mandalorian series. I'll pop up a wee picture. As you can see, his armour is blue with some chip into it. And that's what I did with this. But now that I've got a blaster pistol, I think I need a rifle to go with it as well. So hopefully in the not too distant future I will be doing that. But in the meantime, thank you for watching guys. I really appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on the Rebel Workshop.